Congregation come to order. Let's have a moment of silence for in honor of Henry Baggett, who just passed away 2 days ago. Okay. Henry did a wonderful job at Anderson County, for Anderson County, at Lake City Elementary. So, he will be severely missed. Greg, you gonna do the resolution?
Let's go ahead and do the pledge.
Oh,
We can do that.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
I can't hear you, Bob.
And Tim, you're still muted.
Scott?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Jones.
And we're back on track. Recognition of guests.
Yeah, tonight we have David Jones here from the U-Trust chairman, and there's Dale. There you are. He was on there.
I've been here, I just couldn't sit here.
Yep. All right. With the U-Trust chairman, he's here from Hancock County, and we want to make sure we get him home as fast as we can with the weather out. So if you'll come on forward.
I appreciate that, and I'm gonna take this off. I can't talk with that mask on. You know, I apologize. But
He said
as y'all know,
socks,
we
too.
our U-Trust, we missed the fall meeting and the fall dinner, and we really hate that. But you should have got your mini grants notification. Not yet. It's coming,
Okay.
because we did $1 million again. And
Okay.
so you're gonna get what you, it's probably gonna be about what you got last year,
That's
okay?
great.
But that's coming, and so Christy and Dan are working on that. But, you know, and we really hate that we had to miss what we're doing. But I thank y'all for letting me come tonight. The award that y'all, I think y'all won it before, is the Anderson County Board of Education, the best appreciation program in East Tennessee award.
All
Yeah.
Thank you all.
All right.
Y'all really do a good job. And then I've got some checks, and I apologize, I've not, I think I've been on the agenda a couple times and just hadn't been able to make it. I have 6 grandchildren, and one of them is playing some basketball, and so I had to do that. You got that easy?
We understand that.
But there you are. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all do a good job.
That's all Pam. isn't it?
Yeah, that's all Pam.
Yeah, thanks, Pam.
And then right here is checks to different schools from them. That goes out. And that's probably some old dates on those checks, but they're still good, I promise. There's your box if you need that back. But I appreciate y'all getting me out of here. I'm gonna head back up the road.
Thank you.
Thank you for
We
coming.
appreciate you bringing money.
Thank you all.
Yeah, good to see you. You don't bring dinner, at least bring money, right?
That's it.
Yeah, that's right. I did that.
Tim, I guess you'll handle
I'll do that, and I'll
and
handle
the checks.
And go check, yep. Because we won the award, it's extra, so each school gets an extra $100 to recognize their staff and stuff like that, so I will do that. And I do, it is Pam, she don't like to be out in here, but Pam Crawford, the board secretary, she is what makes this run like a fine old machine. Yep.
Now back on schedule.
Now,
All right. I have a resolution here, Anderson County Board of Education, a board resolution honoring and recognizing our school principals. Whereas principals and assistant principals have enormous responsibilities and duties to keep their schools at the highest level and successful, and whereas principals strive to enhance the learning and working environment for students and staff in our schools, and whereas principals and assistant principals are leaders who provide important direction and support to students and employees in our district, and whereas principals work diligently to enhance the working relationship between schools, parents, and community to create the very best learning environment possible, and now therefore be it resolved that the Anderson County Board of Education hereby adopts the resolution of appreciation declaring February the 11th, 2021 as Principal Appreciation Day in all our schools, and be it further resolved that the board expresses deep appreciation to principals and assistant principals in our system. We encourage the students and staff to join us in expressing appreciation to the leaders of Anderson County Schools. Approved by the Anderson County Board of Education in regular session on the 11th day of February 2021.
Move we approve the resolution.
Move and second, we approve the resolution for the principals of Anderson County. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
And this is part of the U Trust. So, I hope you'll get to see the schools have been recognizing the principals all month, so they're good.
Recognition of guests. Do we have anybody else we need to recognize? Okay. Being none, persons to be heard. Being none, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Move second, approval of the agenda, discussion. None. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Approval of consent agenda.
So moved.
Move second, approval of consent agenda, discussion. Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Executive approval, there was none again this month, thank you. Comments from the chair. I hope everybody's ready for the retreat on the 26th and 27th. I think the agenda has been set, and I hope did everybody get a copy of it?
I don't know if we've seen it. Yeah, you got a copy of it. Yeah, it was on the table tonight.
Okay, so everybody should have gotten a copy of it tonight. If there's anything that needs to be added or changed, please let Pam or Dr. Parrott know. That's really all I've got. Comments from student board members.
Thank you. Tonight, in addition to my usual news about academics at Clinton High School, I want to highlight some of the achievements that our clubs, especially band, have done this month. There have been a lot of exciting things happening at the high school and a lot that our students have achieved. So in 2 virtual competitions, and these are in the east of Tennessee, or almost statewide, band competitions, where in a normal year you would get to go to Gatlinburg and play with an honor band with the top students in Tennessee. We have had several students make it in both jazz and concert band. Those would be myself, Sarah Boundy, Ethan Yance, Trey Meredith, Xander Eric, and Austin Saltkill. Huge achievements again. They're some of the top students, band students in Tennessee. And in concert band, we have Lucas Myers, David Holguin, Sarah Boundy, and myself. And on March 1st, our band has the privilege to have a Zoom rehearsal with one of the top composers of band music in the world. We're hoping that this is really going to elevate the band to maybe the national stage, and it'll be a huge advancement with John Mackey. In addition, the jazz band is reaching out to the community in multiple ways. We're hoping to have a performance on Market Street on April 2nd. So, other than that, I'd like to brag on FBLA and HOSA because they've had multiple students place in competitions again. So, congratulations to those students, and we're very proud of our clubs and organizations at Clinton High School. In academic news, almost 80% of FAFSAs for the senior class have been completed, so they are able to apply for scholarships and financial aid. We recently had an ACT celebration in the hallway because so many students had met the benchmarks. So we're very proud of them for reaching college level standards. 10th graders received annotated transcripts in the mail that told them what their progress is in high school, if they're on track to graduate, and what they can do to make that happen. So if they start early, we're hoping they can take the necessary steps to succeed in their future. And Assistant Principal Amanda Powers has been doing credit recovery for 9th grade students during lunch. The goal is if they can get started on making up these classes early as 9th graders, they'll have less to do as seniors, and we will have a higher graduation rate, more successful people graduating from the high school. So thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Thanks.
This past week at ACHS, we announced the top 10 and the members of the 30 Plus Club. So the top 10 are as follows: valedictorian Gabriel Watson, salutatorian Allie Perry, and the rest are in order from there. Elijah Arender, Preston Martin, Myra Mustard, Griffin Palmer, Ian Hoyer, Nathan Weldon, Paul Shelton, and Luke Overton. So I just want to recognize those seniors for their hard work. And in addition to that, there were 13 seniors who had 30 plus on their ACT. So that's big news. So we're having luncheons, I think, this week, at the end, not this week, but the end of next week, to honor those students. And students and staff are writing notes, like virtual notes, because we can't really have like a huge, big celebration. So the students are writing them notes and congratulating them and all that. Can't forget about our Teacher of the Year, Mr. Chad Fayok. He teaches science, physics, and a bunch of different science classes. Another thing coming up, our virtual college fair is Thursday, March 4th, for students to get more familiar with colleges that they're interested in. I think that's in the evening. So another thing is our first drive-in movie. I mentioned it a few months ago. It was really successful. We had a good turnout. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the beach area outside the high school beside the gym, but that's where we had a big projector screen. So we had a pretty good turnout for that. So we're having another one this Saturday at 6:15, and we're playing The Princess Bride, one of my all-time favorites. So that'll be a lot of fun. And as many of you know, the AC basketball team is playing tonight against Clinton at home. We had a rough time out last time we played them, so hopefully we can have a better outing tonight. And we also play tomorrow at home against the Knoxville Ambassadors. So, yeah.
Thanks again to the student board member for keeping us informed.
We're happy to do it.
Director's report.
Thank you, Dr. Burrow. Just a few things I'd like to highlight. I do have a meeting set up with on Tuesday to start finalizing some things on the contract for the city of, with the city of Clinton for their fields. And I'm gonna have to put this down because we'll be working with that. We're gonna, me and Brad Collette is gonna meet and trying to make sure we get the first draft, and then I'll be bringing it to the committee to let them look at that. Another thing, just to update you, we were in Rocky Top. As you know, the board voted earlier in the year to give Rocky Top, the city of Rocky Top, $75,000 to help redo the lights on the football field up there. And I went by the other day and talked with Michael Foster, and they're working on painting the light poles right now and working on getting those lights installed. So that'll be a real upgrade to that football field up there. We have been working, Catherine has been working, our nurse manager has been working with the State Health Department, and we will be announcing on social media and letting out to the parents, we will stop doing temperature checks as of tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the last day we do temperature checks. They said that temperature checks are no longer being required, and because there's so much of I guess so many people that get sick with the COVID really don't have the temperature, and people that have the temperature don't get sick with it. But our parents have done an amazing job of making sure if the child does have a temperature, they stay home and everything. So we know that will take a little bit of pressure off of our staff in the mornings. We do have some places that we'll still do them. Some of our special needs students that ride our vans, they can't wear masks, so some of those may be still temperature checks just to make sure and help them out. So that's a good one. I have started my meetings with my department heads on budget. I will have all of those things ready for you to kind of just go over a preliminary budget at the retreat. Our plan is with Miss Minton, we will give you a first draft of the budget in March, and then we will have you vote on it in April. However, we still won't have firm numbers from the state in April, so really we'll come back and vote on it again probably in May and to finalize the budget. The other thing is we are excited. We have been approved to be a site when the COVID vaccines are ready. We got our approval from the state. Mr. Dill and Catherine and her staff has worked hard on trying to get that. They've actually had to work with Mr. McCamey, with the Director of Maintenance, to install 2 refrigerators and put those into the Logic system that we can monitor 24/7 the temperatures of the vaccine. And we will be doing that drive-through up at Anderson County High School. Thanks to Dr. Burrell, he worked with us on that to make sure everything was signed off on. And in a meeting with the State Department yesterday, they hoped that the state will completely move to 1B before the end of March, and that way we will be able to start doing those shots. So we're excited about that. I think it is a good time for that. One more thing I'd just like to announce. The Director of the Year for Anderson County is Wade Haney, our Director of Technology. Principal of the Year this year is Miss Ray Ann Owens from Clinton Middle School. The SRO of the Year is Nick Shetterly. He is up in the Lake City area. Our Pre-K Teacher of the Year is Brandy Wilson. She is at Lake City Elementary School. Our Elementary Teacher of the Year is Elizabeth Evans. She is at Grand Oaks Elementary School. Our Middle School Teacher of the Year is Stacy Weldon. She is from Clinton Middle School. And our High School Teacher of the Year is Alicia Phillips. She is at Clinton High School. And we want to congratulate all of those. We will be, the schools are right now selecting their classified person of the year, and then we will put those applications together, and we'll have a team that will select one of from that to be the district-wide classified person of the year. So we're excited about trying to just to recognize them for a job well done. And I'll take questions, and that's all I have.
You stated that the shots would be available. You said by the end of March, but did you mean
No, by the end of
February?
by the end of February. They
Okay.
say we will go by March 1st, and then after March 1st, whenever they're available, we'll get those.
Okay.
We won't be able to get them before the health department gets them, so hopefully 1B will be pretty fast.
Do we know which one we're getting, Pfizer or?
No, we don't.
That makes a big difference on the temperature thing.
Yeah, we had to be ready for both, is what I'm thinking, isn't it, Mr. Deal?
Yes, I mean, Catherine's tried to find out, there's no indication of what which one we're going to get, but one of the requirements, everybody, Dr. Burrow has volunteered to be, we had to have a medical director to qualify for this application, and Dr. Burrow is our medical director. So part of that application that you signed off on was that we had to secure the refrigeration. Now, it may be that we don't need it, but we have to have it in case that's the one that we get.
We've got a very expensive refrigerator in Anderson County now, I can tell you that.
Reuse it.
It's hard to keep the Pfizer thing because it's gotta be kept at a very, very low temperature and.
Minus 100.
Well, you know, if we have to do this yearly,
Yes,
it'd be good to have it, so.
yes.
Will there be a booster? Are they looking at later on a booster? That's what I've heard, that maybe each year you'd have to have a booster like the flu shot.
Well, and the thing we don't know is if you get Moderna this year and they come out with a booster, do you have to have the same shot for the booster? And I haven't been able to get that answered. But the sooner the better.
Yes,
Yeah.
For sure.
that's all I have, Doctor.
Okay, committee reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Budget Committee met Monday night and approved the following appropriations. 1A is appropriate funds for retirement benefits for those who are retiring prior to June the 30th this year. That's $87,316. Then there are three, B, C, and D are all related to Title 1A and Title 2A. 1B is to reflect a decrease in allocations into the consolidated administration. That is a plus, but it is actually a decrease in what we usually get. That's $22,618.44. C and D are the 1A and 2A allocations. That's $56,172.93 and $40,694.19 respectively. 1E is to appropriate the Perkins Grant for vocational education, $8,281.85, and 1F is to appropriate Food City bucks received in January of $325. We had an additional appropriation that was an addendum to appropriate funds for the installation of artificial, can I say this? Okay. Artificial turf on the football field used at Clinton High School and Clinton Middle School. That's $600,000, or up to $600,000. So those have all been before the Budget Committee and have forwarded to the full board for approval, and I so move.
Second.
Moving second, we approve appropriations 1A through 1F.
And addendum.
Roll.
And
the addendum.
Addendum, yes.
Roll call vote.
Yes. Mr. Bell?
Aye.
Mr. Cantrell?
Yes.
Mr. Killenwaters?
Aye.
Ms. Langlenberg?
Aye.
Mr. McCamey? Mr. Portwood?
Aye.
Ms. Williams?
Aye.
And Dr. Burrow.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Transfers this month, a couple of those. Transfer 2A is for funds for communication costs. That's $82,000. That should be the last, that's the phone system. Should be the last expenditure we have there. 2B is to transfer funds for the purchase of a vehicle for the Director of Transportation, $28,501. 2C is to transfer funds for the Perkins Grant. We have to have 5% of that appropriation up above for professional development. So 5% of that is $413.58. 2D is special ed from transportation equipment to teacher salaries, $7,996. 2E is transfer funds from staff development for the after-school programs, $100. F and G are Head Start and Early Head Start, $240,793 for Head Start, $70,305 for Early Head Start. And then the Last one, 2H, is the Early Head Start COVID money. That's for substitute teachers due to COVID, $2,400. Those transfers have all been approved by the Budget Committee and forwarded to the full board, and I so move.
Second.
Move second approval of transfers 2A through 2H. Discussion. Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
We also approved a recommendation for 2% pay raise for all employees retroactive to January 1st, and I so move.
Second.
Move second, we approve pay raise for the employees. Discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
We also approved the allocations for the ESSER 2.0 relief funds that were presented to us. Those have been approved, and I so move.
Second.
Move second, approval of the appropriations for the
ESSER 2.
ESSER.
E-
ESSER.
ESSER.
Yeah, 2.0.
Discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
That's elementary, secondary school emergency relief fund.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Thank you, I needed that.
It's COVID money.
COVID
It's
money.
the
That's
COVID
what-
money.
That's what it is, COVID money.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Policy Committee.
I'll let you use that. The policy committee met Monday night as well, and we had 3 policies for discussion. The first one is vacations and holidays, and the director had recommended to us that a maximum of 30 days can be carried over, and the committee recommended approval on the first reading, and I so move.
Second.
Second.
Moving second, we approve policy 5.310.
Yes.
Discussion. If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Our next policy is physical examinations and immunizations, 6.402. And this is basically just a rewrite of what we already had, but we did add one change to it where the previous policy said for exemptions
Takes me a while to
for
get to it.
immunizations. It said his and her religious tenets, and we have worded it just a little bit differently and said his and her religious or denominational tenets and practices, and that passed the committee for recommendation on first reading, and I so move.
There it is.
Move second approval of the policy 6.402. Discussion. If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Policy number 6.405, medicines, was tabled for further review, and I make a motion that we take it off the table and address it tonight.
I'll second that.
Moving second, we take the policy number 6.405 off the table and discuss it tonight.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, this policy, as the one previously, is basically a rewrite. The nurse, Director of Nursing and Mr. Deal have gone over this policy in detail, and it basically deals with how medications are dispensed and stored at the schools. There was one section in the previous policy that we discussed, students with adrenal insufficiency. We had discussions on that, and we have removed that, and that's the reason we're bringing it back tonight for a vote for first approval, and I so move.
Moving second, we approve policy on on first reading, discussion.
Are we gonna bring that back up? Is that,
We just took that completely out of there, and it won't be in there anymore.
okay.
Yep.
And this,
I mean, as I understand it, it
Under
can only be applied to teachers who voluntarily agree to administer that. So if there was a student in a class, then that teacher would have the option of whether or not he or she wanted to administer that to the student. As I understand it, it's a syringe. It's like a, emergency thing, but a student who gets in that condition has about 30 minutes before they can die. So, I mean, I've just told you everything I've read about it, but it seems to me if we had that situation, we ought to let those teachers administer that if they're willing to do that.
and we also, the teachers and the nurses have to be notified that they have such a student in their school.
Right.
The problem with the policy as it was presented was the statement that Greg and Catherine and I had a long discussion about it. The problem was the policy as written says the director will instruct.
Right, yeah, I had problems with how it was written. I'm just wondering if it's going to be brought back up, is my question.
Well, I think what right now is the way I understand with Catherine and Amy is that we've got, if that does come up, we've got a nurse in every school, and we would do that a lot of times the parents, if the teacher doesn't want to feel, they feel they can't do that. So I think that would be the thing. If we have somebody like that, we're going to make sure, I don't think we essentially need a policy that says I'm going to do it or I'm going to instruct somebody to do it.
And the real problem is we don't have the medication available.
Yeah.
Well, the student would, is what I understand.
The student
Yeah,
would.
it'd be like.
And I understand
But the
it's
student has
quite
a
rare.
tablet that they take daily
Right.
for adrenal insufficiency. The treatment is an IV injection of cortisone.
Right. Yeah, this is
We
an
don't have that
emergency.
available.
Yeah, the student would have it. It's like a kid who needs an EpiPen or an inhaler or something.
Doesn't come that way,
They
Scott.
wouldn't have it unless it's an emergency, would they?
I'm sorry?
They wouldn't have it unless it was an emergency situation. And then it would be
According-
administered at the hospital. Is that
Right.
correct?
They just, the steroid that has to be used doesn't come in a EpiPen or that type of thing. It's in a vial, has to be drawn up and mixed, and it's tough to use. If we're going to pass the policy, then we need to get the medication and keep it in each school.
Who
Or
would
at
administer,
least-
who would administer it, the
At
nurse?
least the policy says the parent will have to notify us. And the patient the student should be taking the pill every day.
Sure.
At that stage, we could get the medication and have it available if we know we've got the student in the class, in school.
Well, my understanding is the student would have it with them. I mean, just like a student who's
Not
allergic.
the
to these-
medication that they can
No, the
treat.
emergency treatment. What you have to have in 30 minutes before you go to the hospital to have the other treatment. There is apparently an emergency syringe that a student carries. In fact, some students can administer it to themselves. But, if we don't have any students who have that condition, it doesn't matter. And I don't think the director needs to be appointing people to do that. And I don't like the way the policy was written, but it seems to me that it's something that we ought to talk about later, because we may very well have a student. And I think at this point, all of our nurses are in every school every day, all day, every day. So
Yep.
there's always going to be
Yeah.
a nurse there. That may
Always gonna
solve
nurse
the
there.
problem
Yeah.
if the nurse is available. But some schools who have, in some systems, who aren't as fortunate as we are, who have part-time nurses,
Yeah.
that nurse may not be there. So,
We'll, if you won't go ahead and do it on first reading, we'll get with Catherine and get with everybody and see if we need to add some things back to that.
Yeah, and we need to find out,
Exactly what that is.
yeah, because I am not aware of any medication that the student carries to treat, self-treatment with.
well, and I may be incorrect in my understanding, but that's what I thought I had read, so.
But it says the parent or guardian of the student diagnosed with adrenal insufficiency shall notify the school district of the student's diagnosis. So they have to let us know.
Sure.
If it should happen, we would have to be notified.
And we would, yeah, unless they've got the medicine, we'd have to get the medicine and have it available.
Have it on, available,
Right.
right?
Does
Now,
that
if
have a
you're
long,
opening yourself up for all sorts of
Oh, yeah,
liability.
no.
does that have a long shelf life, Dr. Burrow?
I'm sorry,
Does that have a long shelf life?
I'm not aware of any, short-term, except in a vial
Okay.
that has to be mixed. If there's something, the Scotch Red that I have, I'm not aware of, which is very possible.
Okay.
But
I just thought
I
if-
just don't know what it is.
If we get it at the first of the year, would it last through the
It's a
school
form of
year?
IV steroid,
Okay.
IV cortisone
Yeah,
of some type.
okay.
I'm of the opinion that we can't have a policy for everything. That's why we got this guy here, and he's a good one. And that policy sounds like it's good enough for me. If it needed, Dr. Parrott take care of the problem.
Yeah, we're not gonna let somebody have something in our school that doesn't need to be, Ms. Town with the special ed and 504s and all that. We'll make sure, because if it's something like that, they're gonna have a 504, and, we'd have special instructions
Well,
for
the
that.
policy says the parent has to notify the school.
Okay.
Right, now,
And
but-
it may be
but-
covered.
That way we could get the medication and
Now,
have
what-
it available.
What I read, what I made the motion was we removed that section. So as of right now, my motion has got it without that section in it. Now, if we want to do it on first reading and go back and modify the policy on second reading, that way we've got all the other medical information updated.
That was what, that would be my choice, is just go ahead and do it like it is with it out, and then what we'll do is put in what we need.
Just to add it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll modify it on second
Yes,
reading.
yes.
Or it sounds like it may already be covered. If we have nurses there that
Yes.
can administer
Right.
We may
any
not
drug,
need to-
then
we
we
may
may
not
not
need
need
to
that
put it-
section anyway.
Yep.
I just want to make sure we're not leaving a student hanging out to dry there.
No, we're not gonna do that.
The motion now is that we approve medicine policy on first reading without the adrenal insufficiency or adrenal crisis
Yes.
part, and that Dr. Parrott will come back after discussion and add that if necessary.
Yep.
Other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
That's all.
Get back to it.
Action items.
Action items, community assessment update.
Dr. Burrow, I make a motion that we approve 2001 Community Assessment Update. This covers our home program and their delegates, and I recommend that we approve that. It has been
If
before
I can
the
get to it.
Head Start Policy Council.
Second?
Motion made and second, we approve the community assessment update.
Yes.
Discussion. Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Selection criteria for worksheets.
I'll make a motion that we approve selection criteria worksheets for the preschool Head Start and early Head Start. We discussed this in depth on Monday night, and I make a motion that we approve them as
Second.
presented.
Second.
Have they presented the selections? Okay. Motion made and second, we approve the selection criteria for worksheets. Discussion. None, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. That's all I have on the,
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, does Ms. Portwood want to give us some instructions on the?
Thank you,
Oh.
Mr. Dillmore. I was just fixing to say, all of you have an evaluation on your desk. I will email Dale and Glenda's to them. If you will fill this out before you come to the retreat, the end of February, I will take those up and give them to Wade and he can tally them. So if you will go ahead, and it's a 1 to 3. And I'm thinking 1 would be, it doesn't have any instructions on here. I think 1 is
One-
good and 3's bad.
No.
Opposite?
It's opposite. yeah.
3's bad, 3's good, 1's bad.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Three's
Y'all might
good.
wanna write that
Three's
down.
good.
3's good, 1's bad.
Not golf.
Yeah, it's not golf.
three's good and one's bad.
Now,
3's good, 1's bad.
if we bring it on Friday night, then Wade can get it tabulated and bring it to us on Saturday, is that?
We'll
If
get
if he's there
Yeah,
on
we'll-
Friday,
We'll get it done.
will he be there?
No, but I'll get it to him. I'll have it.
Yes.
have it.
You want me to send it
That
to
what?
you? Or
Oh, that. that
Just
we
bring
have.
it to the meeting in the end
just
of,
bring it with me?
yes, yes.
Okay.
So to the retreat.
Yep.
Okay, you don't want it beforehand.
3's good, 1's bad.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't want no one.
We're gonna put down there at the bottom, you give me an extra 25 points for going through a pandemic or something.
Yeah, it's been a trying year, Tim.
It has been.
Year and a half. So that's all I have for that. Unless y'all have questions.
Anything else? Adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Write that
Cracker
down.
Barrel.